Hello everyone, today I am going to present my seminar presentation for FIP-24. The topic today is the empty jar. This is the story about life and priorities. What really means most in life? The empty jar story shows us how to focus on what is truly important. It is an it is a story when a professor was in the classroom and he had an empty jar and so many round stones on his table. He asked the students that this jar is empty, and now the students were agreed. He again asked and told that I am going to put these round stones into the jar, and now the jar was filled with stone. And then he asked the students, now this jar is filled? Then the student replied, yes sir, this jar is filled. Now he again went out from the class and he collected some small stones, and then he poured it into the jar. These small stones also these small stones also occupied that space. Now the student asked that what if there is any space? The student asked that, told that there is no space, that is filled. Now again the professor went out and collected some sand, and he poured some sand into that jar. The students were astonished that the jar is now again accepting that sand and it is completely filled. That professor asked that by getting sand into the jar, this is completely filled. Are you agree? The students replied, yes sir, this is completely filled. Now this yes was said by students third time. Now again you are seeing that reflections that professor collected that empty jar and rocks, small stones, and with these small stones he collected some sand and he packed that particular empty jar, and this empty jar was now completely filled. Now again he asked with the students. Now all students were agreed that the jar is completely filled. Now he taken some tea and added this tea into the jar. Now the student laughed, and now this was the time that the fourth time the jar was filled with some tea. The main the lesson was what the jar professor told that this jar is actually representing your life. This jar is representing your life. Round stones are important to your life. Like when you are filling round stones, big stones, they are important to your life. These are like your family, your children, your health, and your friends. And with these important big stones, your life is incomplete. Yeah, or without this, you cannot live. Now, the second thing is pebble or small stones. These pebbles or small stones are also important, like your job, like your car, like your house. Now, again, there is some sand. Some small stuff, that is social media, course, distractions, etc. Sand is like everything. Sand is like everything other than these first and two, rocks and pebbles. Now the story, what the story tells us. The story tells us about the priorities, that if you are having three types of things like big stones, small stones, these are the necessary things, and the sand is something which is which may or may not be important. But whenever these first two things are in order, and if you are reversing the order, that if you are fulfilling the sand first, then what would occur? The necessary things will be out. Means if you are filling the third priority things, taking it as a first priority, then the things will be worst. And now the what is the fourth thing? That was a tea which was mixed by the teacher. The student asked why, what is the role of tea? You have also mixed that tea into the jar. The professor was saying, yes, this is very fantastic question. This tea is actually your cup of tea with your friends, your families, your family members. And without, you have to give your life a space like cup of tea with your friends, with your family members. That is why always, as always, time you have a space for a very good thing, for very good relations. And with this story, uh, yeah, this story tells us how to focus on what matter most. The key is not to prioritize what is on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Thank you.